executive committee in front of you there. Any corrections or additions to any of those items?
Move to approve.
I want to move that the summary of the meeting of February the 4th be approved.
Second.
Mr. Gray, second. All those in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion's carried. Okay, Marshall, well, we'll start with the city. Tony, you wanna?
Well, as we were just talking about, it's rained a little bit and there's some water around. We're dealing with stormwater issues everywhere. But a few things that may be of interest to this group. The made stormwater detention pond, we already have a project that will be underway to repair and take care of the injection well there behind Tuftor. But right now, that's full like everything else is, so we'll have to let things dry out. But that is we're moving forward with a TDEC permit to address that well. Already this morning, I have begun to get messages for the second wave of what we're going to see after high water, which is sinkholes. We've got a sinkhole at 11E in front of Frightmere Manor that TDOT's looking at now. And the city's got one at Commerce and 160 in the shoulder. My guys are out looking at it now. I don't have any more on either one of those yet. But as the water drops back down and dries out, we're going to see this across the region. So just like we've seen water where we've not seen it before, we're going to see sinkhole problems where we're not used to seeing them either. So that's coming. Had a meeting with TDOT, well, last month now. A couple of projects that are beginning to move slowly. Commerce Boulevard at AJ, that's a traffic signal project, should be out to bid in October. Traffic signal project can be built in the winter. I don't have a construction schedule. But their hope is to bid the two projects, that end at AJ and the end at 160 where they're putting in the J-turns at the same time, and build them one after the other. So TDOT is still working on that with a bid late this year. As I was saying earlier, we talked to them about the Exit 4 connector, the new State Route 66. At that point in time, they were still on track to open the road in September. That was before the rain. I've not got a report on what the rain and the high waters did to their sinking part of the project, but we'll find that out. The city's next big project that we'll have to do in terms of roads is West AJ from Crescent Center back to Walters Drive. That's a road project that we'll be moving forward on. We're still in the right-of-way environmental phase. Things don't move quickly through TDOT, and that's where we stand. We're still hopeful that in this paving season we will be able to work on that segment of the road. At City Center, we just awarded a contract to Merit Construction for rehabilitation of the plaza and the underground parking garage. This is not just a project to make things pretty. If you've been in there, the water's penetrating the surface. It's going to cause structural problems. So
Where's that, Tony?
the water's going through the plaza to the garage underneath. So we got all this support beams, steel that's getting wet that's not supposed to. That's the reason we're doing the project. Merit should be out there in the next 2 to 3 weeks with demolition, but it's going to take them 9 months to finish that project. Merit Construction is also our contractor on our public works compound out off of Merchants Green on Durham Landing. They are beginning to get the project handed over from the East Tennessee Turf, who's doing the grade work. And if you look at the site now, you begin to see things are starting to go vertical. The first building is the building at the very back, which is our salt bin. They've already poured the walls for that. You can begin to see that if you look closely. They've got footers in for some of the buildings. We'll start to see steel coming out of the ground on that. We're working hard to get out of the way so we can make room for TCAT. which is hopefully going to take possession of some of the property here in the next 90 days. TCAT's still working with the state, trying to get all their pieces moving, but we are moving. We do have the Humane Society is moving into their new facility, getting out of the way of TCAT, and I'm getting some of our guys out of the way as well. My other two construction projects, Heritage Park has pretty much been killed by the rain. We've not made much progress there in a couple of months. And the Greenway project along Cumberland is got a 60-day extension to allow the weather to warm up a little bit where we can finish that one. And then those two should be doing something here late spring, early summer. Got a lot going on. As the weather gets better, we'll have even more happening, but right now that's kind of what's going on with the city projects.
Let me ask you a question. With the railroad construction going on in town, on Fairmont down here, in reading it, I know that one. I don't know how to put it. They finally got the railroad fixed where you could cross it. But the one on the other side, on the rich food side, it's practically a pond there. Is there any way to fix that?
I hadn't noticed, but I'll get our guys to go out, add it to the list.
It's right the other, it's right the other side of the railroad. You cross the railroad, and then all of a sudden from there for the next 25 feet is, in other words, they put in the new asphalt to the railroad, and it's okay on this side of the railroad, but on the other side of the railroad, there's no water there.
Okay.
The water's not draining off, it's a pond there. Several inches deep.
We'll check into it.
Anything else on the city? Questions, anybody? The work on the Greenway on North Cumberland, where are we on that project?
Basically, we've got a top coat of asphalt to go down. We've got some staining of that surface, so make it a different color, and some landscaping. But what we've got to do is let the weather needs to be about 60 degrees before we can finish it up, so really there won't be a lot of activity until it gets a little warmer and drier. But we'll have that done by June for sure.
Any other questions of stuff that was in the meeting last week? Anybody have any questions? Okay, Bill?
Negotiations are underway with the design firm for the jail project. Mosley Architects, the firm out of Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're supposed to report back to the jail study committee on Monday. The county's been awarded 2 recycle grants. We're waiting word on another 2. All 4 grants were applied for to develop a recycle convenience center at the landfill. So we're waiting on word for 2 of them. Bathhouse construction underway at Cherokee Park. Let's see, middle school career day is next week from tomorrow. Where all 4 middle schools will have speakers. And then the teacher externship panel discussion, it starts later this month too. So those 2 areas in workforce development. And then the Future Ready Expo, I guess Jody will report on that. So, and it was, what I saw was great. So.
Pretty good turnout, I mean.
Anything else? Okay, Marshall?
So I think I reported last time that we had applied for $1 million site development grant and got invited to Nashville to pitch on that. Got good news back, we did receive the $1 million. So Jody did a good job filling out all that paperwork and the work. So our goal now is we're in the process of applying for the TVA InvestPrep grant, so we can ask for up to $500,000 there. So we need to receive that grant as well. because it's not cheap to move hills in East Tennessee. So the end goal is to grade us about an 85-acre site. Since we've sold basically the rest of our graded pads, is to get another site graded at little to no cost of our own. So we'll be working on that. We also received another grant that Jody worked on, is a marketing grant. Tell them a little about that, Jody.
This is also through the Department of Economic and Community Development. In the past, this grant has actually funded a website as well as some videos for economic development. They've changed a little bit. It doesn't do anything with the website now. It's just marketing videos. So they'll have, they do one, I can't remember what they call it, but it's a big video. And they're going to target industrial development, tourism, as well as some community development. And from that bigger video, they'll pull out little snapshots so that you can gear it towards the community or the industrial development or tourism. They don't put a dollar amount on it, but we're thinking it's probably about a $25,000 value. They bring in the videographers, the photographers, they do all the production. We just have to help them make the connections going into businesses, identify which community development or tourism aspects we want to highlight. So that will probably begin sometime in June, and we'll wrap up by the fall. So it's a pretty quick turnaround.
And then I think we reported last time we had 2 prospects. Since then, one of those prospects have chosen Morristown and Hamlin County. So that'll be Project White Bear, 80 to 100 jobs, built in 100,000 square feet. So that's exciting, and that's what kind of used our last graded pad site, so that's why we're trying to get this money on the other sites. So we're reviewing the Alta surveys today, and our hope would be construction would probably start within 45 days or so. So that's exciting. Tell them a little about the Future Ready Expo.
So the Future Ready Expo was held last Thursday, February 28th. It was a career fair for 8th graders in Hamlin County, so we had about 800 8th graders go through. They went through 4 different clusters: advanced manufacturing, trade and industry, health and medical, and then business and retail services, I believe was how it was divided up. We asked the exhibitors to try to have interactive, hands-on activities that could engage these 8th graders. From what I saw, I was in the hospitality room most of the day, so I wasn't down on the floor, but from my view, it looked like the kids were having a really good time. The exhibitors were having a good time with them. And then at 2:30, we invited the private schools in as well. So I think there were about 30 8th graders from the private schools. I know Cornerstone came. I'm not sure that All Saints came. But, like I say, I wasn't really out on the floor. And then at 4 o'clock, we opened it up to the public. We didn't have as much probably turnout as we had hoped. We invited the seniors to come out. This could qualify as part of one of the things on their work ethic diploma. So we had them fill out a little thing, and they had to turn that back in when they finished. But I think overall the exhibitors found it beneficial, though there will be a survey going out to them. Probably the biggest complaint was the dirt floor. So we'll try to address that next time. But I think overall the committee was pleased, and planning will start for the next one probably.
Was the dirt floor planned, or I don't know how they move that in and out?
Well, they can put down that, what is it, like a green
Like a turf.
floor,
Yeah.
like for graduations, but that's evidently a really lengthy process to do, so you kind of have to piggyback on something that's already doing that. So that may be what we try to do, is find a time that they've already got that down for like graduation, or it seems like a car show also uses that, so I'm not sure, but,
Yeah, I think the car show is.
so.
I was in advanced manufacturing, and the kids had good questions. The teachers either had prepped them well, and I was with the Van Hool plant manager most of the day, and it was impressive to hear those 8th grade kids say, "Oh, my teachers told me about you all. Do you all need welders? What do you need?" And what Van Hool figured out is they need to tailor their message, especially toward females, because there's a lot of females, and if you go to their plants, there's a ton of females involved, but their videos, it looks more heavy manufacturing, and there's a ton of things for everybody. So he said, we need to work on our presentation to younger people to show, here are the other jobs available, not just welding and that. But he was impressed that so many of the teachers had already told the kids that this company's coming and they're gonna be doing this. So, he was telling some of the kids the jobs, and if the kids seem uninterested, he would hand them a flyer and say, well, give that flyer to your parents, they may want a job. So, he was really happy. And then when the adults came in, I think the advanced manufacturing section had most of the activity with the adults. I know Michelle had 8 to 10 people at his booth all the time, so he was pretty happy. So
The folks I talked to said the kids were very engaged. So I'd say it was a win. It was a big win.
And where did all the vendors, or what did you call those, the
Exhibitors.
exhibitors come from?
Mostly from Hamlin County. We had several of, like Marshall said, the advanced manufacturing. There was Meritor, Molly, Rich Products, Iconics, ColorTech, Petoskey, Colgate.
Iconics.
Are they there all day for demonstrating what they do?
And from 4 to 6, we did open that up as a job fair,
Yeah.
so they could take applications or resumes. That's why Marshall said that probably that sector had the most activity from 4 to 6, because they were doing the applications and resumes. The other sectors weren't doing that as much.
Iconics had a neat one, so if you filled out an application right then for Iconics, you got entered in a drawing for a 32-inch TV. And I noticed they had a stack of applications, so pretty much anybody that walked through there filled it out, so there were a good number. So a lot of companies were taking applications on site, so it's good.
Any other thing to come for us? Anybody? Not Cheryl, entertain a motion.